purpose of this resource is to provide guidance for utilizing scaffolds that are embedded in your EL Education District curriculum. Scaffolding is an instructional method that progressively moves students towards greater independence and understanding during the learning process. It is a temporary support that acknowledges what students already know, the barriers they will face in achieving new learning goals, and the instructional support that will benefit them in negotiating these barriers. Throughout this learning opportunity, we'll focus on examples of scaffolds that already exist within EL education lessons, using Lesson 5 from Grade 4, Module 1, Unit 3. An EL Education Scaffold Overview document for elementary ELA grades 2 through 5 can be found in Learning Central under the appendix within each grade level module and in the teacher planning tools for your grade level curriculum. Please refer to this document for additional supports as you plan. The lesson components listed on the slide are where you can locate embedded scaffolds within the lessons and will be highlighted throughout this presentation. It is important not to skip over the introductory teaching notes section of the lesson, which highlights intended learning outcomes and offers context within the unit and the module. For example, in this lesson, students will continue writing their presentations for their performance tests. They will use a model poetry presentation to generate criteria for an effective proof paragraph, and then plan and write their own. Students will also be given a poem to practice reading aloud for fluency in preparation for their end-of-unit assessment. If you have students that need additional support to read the fluency excerpt, think about grouping the students together and allowing them to read chorally as a group. They can also echo read with the teacher by reading line by line, repeating what the teacher says if heavier scaffolding is needed. Each lesson provides a selection of supports for English language learners, but teachers should read these notes as these strategies may be helpful to all students regardless of their language proficiency. Earlier grades put a heavy emphasis on strategies for reading unfamiliar words, but it's important to keep in mind that some students may need reteaching and/or reminding to help them read effectively. Consider making personal anchor charts on index cards for students to keep at their desk so that strategies can be accessed when needed. The Meeting Student Needs sections offer differentiation opportunities for students. It is important to remember that effective differentiation is built on a foundation of engaging, relevant, student-friendly learning targets that clearly define expectations for learning. These learning targets remain consistent amongst all students in the classroom, regardless of the differentiation presented to the learner. Productive struggle is important to build stamina and confidence. Scaffold students as needed, but encourage and celebrate independence as well. Help students self-regulate by posting a list of options and places to look for help if they need it. For example, look back at anchor charts in the classroom, or look at your model paragraphs. Take a breath and refocus, or jot down ideas, etc. Using a paragraph framework such as this one can help students who may need heavier support with writing. Keep in mind, students can also dictate their ideas using voice to type and then transcribe it by hand on the framework. The more vocabulary a student is exposed to during learning, the more likely it is for that student to become a better reader. EL lessons point out academic and domain-specific vocabulary that is taught in each lesson. These words should be recorded on a class word wall for students to refer back to throughout the module. In this lesson, students should know the highlighted words. Remember that it's important to practice these words regularly. Try playing a game like hot potato. Students can toss a soft ball to one another. When they catch the ball, they must read a word off of the word wall, or oops, they've caught the hot potato. Scaffolding is an instructional method that progressively moves students towards greater independence and understanding during the learning process. Refer to the EL Education Scaffold Overview for grades 2 through 5 for additional resources that may provide further support when planning and implementing instruction. As a reminder, additional resources and professional learning videos can be found in Learning Central under the appendix within each grade level module and in the teacher planning tools for your grade level curriculum. If you need more assistance with differentiating scaffolding lessons, you may wish to reach out to the experts in your building, ESL teachers, special education specialists, intervention team facilitators, or contact the central office coordinating teachers assigned to your school for support.